soon as he's ready. Okay. Well, welcome back, guys. As we left last time, the abbot here revealed that back in town. Oh, by the way, before I get too much further, Magneto, I haven't heard your voice. Or do you have comms?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, that's everyone then. The abbot was describing how, to his frustration, the very thing he was trying to avoid having happen has yet happened again. And the Vasily is currently near the woman whose spirit he wants to be able to capture and put into this golem here, which turns out is actually one of Strahd's perhaps various aliases. And he uses that to go around town and not necessarily sample the wares, but to have a foothold in the financial workings of the Barovians as well, while not lording over them his power. So, yay. Diedrich has a natural fondness for the man, and he's found that that is currently where the young lady is hidden.
I'd like to make an insight check to kind of see. I believe the abbot, but I don't know if his intentions are good, if they're evil, if they are just, what. I want to see kind of what his intentions are with an insight check, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, go for it. You believe that he has good intentions, but maybe not always the best of methods. Armandus, as a plains walking type creature, I'll let you do an addendum, an extra insight check on that as well. All right, you have nothing to add to that. You would agree with his assessment, but nothing to add.
I don't trust this guy at all. I don't know that killing someone and capturing their spirit is the way to go about this.
All right, I'm going to roll a dice for him, him being the abbot. Because would he observe this? He seems to have not noticed your wariness. In the uncomfortable silence, he walks over to the golem and tucks the blanket around more securely, making sure it's covered.
Reminds me how many people have died for this golem, for their pieces.
How many, or by whom? Because if you're asking if I had something to do with their deaths, I did not.
I can't find a reason to do anything about this. I just don't feel good about it, though.
Are you saying that to him?
No. Well.
Okay.
Should I? That was internal monologue, but at the same time, maybe getting
You're asking
that out
the group.
There.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is all stuff I missed the last time.
Oh, you weren't here last game.
Yeah. I was at my sister's for her birthday.
Oh, so, my apologies.
Yeah. No,
okay,
you're fine.
So we're at the Abbey of Markovia.
What you guys are saying. Gotcha.
Yeah, okay, so we're at the Abbey of Markovia. This is the abbot. He has been around, from what I understand, from they would have seen a long time by now. He says he serves the Morning Lord, so that would be a good deity. but he has lived far longer than a regular human would, because he is around and is aware of things that have occurred literally hundreds of years before, apparently firsthand. The people in this town seem to be a mongrel sort, long-lived, but
I do remember
they
them.
almost have,
The-
animal body parts in many places. Okay, I wasn't sure how far you'd
Yeah,
been.
yeah. I was there for the dog part.
Yeah, so as it has turned out, the people here don't seem to have a problem with him, even though they have gotten parts, and as they have either been severely injured and lost limbs or died, he has brought them back and kept them going, although there seems to be a cost to it. And when he, at least again as to what he said, when he offers his prayers and his attempts to reach out to the Morning Lord, they're being answered in this rather peculiar way, in that things are getting distorted and twisted. Whether that necessarily is, something intentional or not, you guys have not ascertained. Right now, what he wants is he has a golem here that he believes could survive being joined as a, marriage to Strahd. And he thinks that if in fact he's able to present this bride to him, it would solve their problem, because Strahd is constantly searching for Tatiana. And her spirit keeps recycling because everything's trapped in this realm. Nothing gets to actually escape to their gods. So she keeps getting recycled into other bodies over and over again. And even in the times in which they have been united, it never lasts. Their love is, or his love for her is too fierce, and hers is not as, she basically isn't as attracted to him, but in fact to Sergei, which he killed. That was his brother. So he's hoping, he being the abbot in this case, is hoping to use an animated golem with the spirit of Tatiana to give satisfaction to Strahd and yet provide a body capable of lasting, and in so doing hopefully unravel the curse that has bound them in this mini dimension.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, but I cannot go along with this. It is one thing to trick the master of this land. It is another thing to kill someone and put their spirit in something else. I will not do it, nor will I allow it to be done.
He sits back down and he pulls back his hood, and you see the visage of a young man whose eyes are tired and much older than his face. And he tisks a little bit to himself and tells you he understands, but your lives are but fleeting things, like mayflies. It would have at least made sense to resolve this for everyone else. One life for the many.
Well, I plan on resolving this myself at some point, when I get the opportunity.
He chuckles and he says, "You mean to take out Strahd himself? Do you mean to kill the source of the curse?"
When the time comes, yes.
Well, that's cute. Cute.
Perhaps.
Yes. You think that killing Strahd would end this? What do you think the curse of undying actually means? If it was a matter of simply killing him, I would have attempted it myself.
Then
So
what?
does this curse thing work for is everybody here undying, or is it just
Are you
Strahd
asking?
and
Are you
Tatiana?
asking? Are
I
you
guess
asking the abbot?
I
Or
guess I'm
out of-
asking the abbot.
Give me a persuasion check, and he's gonna do an insight.
I don't have a character available.
You can still.
Oh
well,
wait, there we go. I found it. Sorry,
Oof,
that's not me.
No,
not
that's
it.
me
Oh.
doing an insight on it. It says Tom. It's not actually Tom. It's because I.
Curse of Strahd. There we go. Insight or persuasion is what you wanted.
Yes.
Yay!
Wow. Yeah, we're not quite meeting in equal grounds. He's willing to tell you that though the concept by some foreign uh, beings of karma has never been quite right, it is really exemplified in this realm in the sense that those that die are reborn. Except, like with all things, everything breaks down in a closed system. And many of the spirits that used to be here are now broken in their fragments. And creatures that feed on those fragments in the in-between planes have found ways to nibble at the corners and the edges of this dimension. So not every spirit that ends comes back completely whole.
Kind of wonder why that people are coming back as weird dogs and everything else, or they're not whole. I guess you said that. Okay.
So, can you tell us the story of the elemental in the well?
Yeah,
I should say Jin.
Yeah, he his eyebrows lifts up and says, "Oh, you've noticed that, did you?" No one else seems to have noticed that. He hardly stirs for anyone, in fact, though many have tried. There were rumors when he first was trapped because he flexed his power more. Well, he certainly doesn't serve me, he tells you. But he seems harmless enough as it is. As to how he got trapped, oh, he was lured by the thought of granting some wishes, whatever silliness that these beings tend to get out of that, and found himself trapped between a power and his plane. It's really quite simple. He stretched farther than his arm could lift, and now he's stuck.
Very well.
Getting back to what you said about the curse.
Mm-hmm.
What is the solution to breaking the curse itself, if just death is not the answer?
Give me a charisma check.
Well,
Everything here is a little bit of chess play to it, back and forth. If information is power, he's a broker of quite a bit of it. He says, well, much as you're not interested in helping me, I'm not sure that your vain attempts are worth informing. I will say this, though. This realm, though it was sealed with his atrocities toward his brother and an agreement with a dark power, that power has done the same thing to him as it's done to me. It has cut us off from the realm of the gods, from the other planes, in such a way that I can't return, and I don't think even death would allow him to return. He's not, in fact, holding this realm together in the way that you think. It's not his life or lack thereof that holds it, but the contract itself and the pursuit for love he can't have. This is why I want to solve it, by giving him that love and thereby pulling out the linchpin that holds it together, because it's not his undeath.
And what if the spirit you put in here does not return the favor? Would that not, or would the contract still go unfulfilled?
Yes, I've wondered this, but really, what am I to do?
Well,
what am I to do?
You could work with us to banish the curse in another way. That is what you could do. Because you do not know me, and I do not really know you. However, I will not let, as far as I can help, innocent life die under my watch. And I will not.
There's
Breaks
a
his hand, start to make whimpering dog sound, but then decides.
That's not my fault. That is not my fault. Jerk.
oh man, that's great. He says he says if your plan involved more than just a few stakes, I would perhaps be willing to join you in your endeavor. He said, but with every death that occurs of Tatiana's spirit, he runs the risk that the next time she comes back, she won't be enough of what she was to even secure the love. This latest incarnation, however, in Irina, he said, feels strong. She seems vibrant enough, alluring enough. But who's to say the next time around it's not the same? Everyone's attempts to stop him thus far have usually ended in their own deaths, but in the few instances where it looks like things have gone and progressed, yet another generation goes down the drain, and there's fewer whole spirits. He said, have you not noticed how so few people have any emotion or any joy, any excitement in their life, any vibrance in their step? Those are all
Unfortunately, I
spirits.
have seen the lack of spirits myself.
Said, yes, then you understand. He waves a hand towards you. It twitches slightly like he's brushing away dust in your general direction. He said, yes, you've tasted it. You've tasted that very wall of death that chews on those that rub against it.
Is Strahd's spirit not coming back? Is it getting damaged each time as well, though? I guess I asked him.
He
Like-
shrugs. Says, who's to say? I don't know if the deal he's made has insulated him or what, but those beings that gnaw at the edges, they probably would find him to be too large of a bite to take. One questions whether it could nibble on me. I don't know, honestly.
Sounds like it already has.
You make a big assumption there that I have been killed. I have not.
No, without death. Thus the status of your townfolk.
Regrettable, yes.
Alright, I believe that potentially, the real issue lies over in the Amber Temple. Would I be correct in saying that?
Oh, we're gonna roll on that. Oh. Wow. Tom. You know, by the way, it's not supposed to stay stuck on you. Like, it used to be that when I click off of a person, it would no longer
I was
select
curious
them.
why it's still saying my name when you were rolling.
Yeah, there's a button for that. I'm gonna guess it defaults every time to re-put it back in or something. But anyway, I'm doing regular rolls and then adding the pluses just to try to avoid dealing with issues caused by that, actually. But he decides to trust you, seeing the intent to be true, and says that without a doubt that temple was absolutely integral to this whole realm forming. It is distinctly possible that if there's a solution anywhere, it would be found in the archives of that temple, but he finds it utterly revolting. He's been unable to, or unwilling, to actually travel within several hundred yards of it.
When I mentioned the Amber Temple, did Armundus react at all? And if so, would I have seen that?
All right, give me a wisdom save from Armundus and an insight check from Diedrich.
I think I win that battle.
Yeah, I just realized you rolled yours first. I was waiting for yours to happen, and I saw it above. Yeah, so Armandus doesn't even notice this, but his eyes widen ever so slightly, and the what's the very middle of your eye, the darkest part, the retina?
Pupil.
Pupil, thank you, that's the word. The pupil widens ever so slightly, like it's taken more light. Only your very careful observation and intentional baiting uh, helped you observe what he didn't even notice himself. That something there has a panicked look to it.
Got a twofer. All right.
And I'll ask the abbot, could you take us there?
Well,
He shakes his head vigorously. No, absolutely not. There is so much there that repels him. You'd be better off trying to ask a vampire to walk in a daylight stroll under the sun.
I think we should do that.
All right, well, I think that we have all the answers that we came for. I will leave with one warning. Irina is not to be touched. If I find that is not the case, I will come back and kill you myself.
He starts laughing at you.
That's fine.
And he stands up, and for just a moment, you see this shimmer of light, and there is a shadow along the wall that looks enormous as it covers two walls, and it looks ever so much like a pair of wings that have gone missing feathers, some of them more like branches or bones, but at least partially present, seem to appear for just a moment. And he has a deep belly laugh to it. He said, "Oh, all right, little mayfly, you can try."
Would I get a roll to possibly figure out what that is?
Yeah,
as far
sure.
as if it's extraplanar.
Mm-hmm.
Investigate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not on that roll.
Yeah, well, I keep trying to keep in mind how complicated something is, not just do you get a good roll or not. Some things might be more obvious than others. You distinctly feel like he's extraplanar, but you're failing to discover more from that short flash that you saw. Robot boy, I would like
I get
a
a
history
religious
check.
check? Oh,
Yeah, I was
okay.
just gonna say religious or history, either one, whichever
Let's
one
see
you're
which one's
comfortable.
better one. They're both terrible.
I'll take a
your
religion.
choice.
Boom! It's a 0 because I got a
Yeah.
-1. He didn't study very well. That's part of his bad data banks.
Yeah, there's a whole missing sector in there.
Can I take religion? If that's on the
You
table?
just got like static on your little view screen.
Oh, it's funny. I wasn't paying any attention.
He actually
like, "Wait,
checks
I'm
for it
religious?"
and he reboots instead. He hits bad sector blue screens.
Blue screen of death. My guy just kind of head nods down for a second. Dummy smacks him a few times.
Come on!
Should I try religion?
0.
Let's see. Well, we've done a religion. We've done an insight, right? Or
Yep.
investigation.
I'm proficient
So
in
I'll let you
religion.
do. I'll let you do a history, Tom. Oh, you did pretty well. You look over. You happen to look past him while that whole like wing-like thing appeared for a moment on the wall. You weren't really noticing that. You, however, noticed a chain whip in the corner. Looked old, and it has a B on it on the bottom of it, and you recognize that, saying, "Wait a second. The Bellaviews, they were like me, powerful hunters." And you realize that at some point in this individual's past, he must have interacted with the Bellaviews.
What?
You don't know anything about the Bellevues. Scott, do you know? Are you familiar with
I
the
was like,
Bellevues?
I
The vampire
vaguely.
hunters.
Yeah.
The vampire
That's
hunters.
Okay,
Wink.
I
Bellevue's. Bellamont.
assumed
Oh, okay.
so.
Chain whip.
Yeah.
Chain.
Oh
Okay,
man.
I mean, I know about the Belmonts, but
My
don't
robot's
know if
like rebooting from his religion. He's like, oh, that's a vampire fighting weapon. I don't know anything about religion, but that thing.
I don't know if he was gonna say more or something, so I didn't.
I just realized it wasn't giving you much information. So, all right. So, working off of the historical reboot,
I'm so sorry.
the robot here is able to pull up some records of the Bellevues and realize that you put a few things together. You recognize that not only was Bellevue a family that were vampire hunters, but they tended to be pretty extreme. They wanted to be able to fly like a bat, have the speed of a cheetah, or the endurance of a wolf. And you have to wonder if they did not come here to try to gain those things, and if they did not accidentally, inadvertently trigger a distortion.
I feel like this guy's evil at his core. I just can't prove it right now.
He's sus.
He's sus.
Yeah, that kind of sus.
I mean, I wouldn't call it, the slightly evil puppy killer type, but
I didn't kill it. Well, actually,
Yeah,
I did,
you did.
But I did the first time.
I did kill it. Well, actually, I did.
But I didn't like it that much.
I didn't enjoy it.
Definitely did not enjoy it.
Aw.
I hate you guys.
Oh man.
Can I ask him about that on the wall then, knowing this little bit of information?
Yeah, give me a persuasion check, robot.
I'm due for some good rolls.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, he sits back down, still finishing the chuckle. He's like, that, yes. They did come to me. And he said, unfortunately, their requests, they wanted bestial traits, and they seem to have gotten them. It wasn't directly from me, however, if that's what you're wondering. I attempted to help them. I prayed for them. I gave them blessings. But I don't know if it's strictly from them or maybe a deal they made with another. But everything that they did seems to have now continued in perpetuity. I cannot seem to stop healing and or recovering those by giving bestial traits. Said I don't entirely understand it, but something poisoned the well, as it were, and my connection, tenuous as it has been ever since being in this realm, was distorted. So yes, they got the traits they wanted, but unfortunately everyone since then has been also getting these traits. They used them, in case you're curious, little mayfly, as he looks at Diedrich. They attempted to use them and found themselves wanting, as Strahd utterly destroyed them.
Is that a magical chain whip? Would it have any value to us in fighting vampires?
He looks at it and he said, well, it didn't have much help. It didn't provide much help for
Well,
For
against
Bellevue.
regular vampires, clearly Strahd destroyed them, but
yeah, he looks at it and he said, it's a bit of a memento for me. We were friends.
You try putting garlic on it.
He sniffs and goes, oh, that's what that is. Yeah. Well, go ahead and try it if you'd like, but I don't have a whole lot of hope for it. Are you saying, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take it from your body when you've either given it up and send it to me, of course, or you die and hopefully someone close to Strahd will get it back to me. But if I am to give this whip to you, he's looking at Tom right now. He said you'll need to not only honor it and use it to try to, get vengeance for my friends, or it will. You'll have to be willing to be cursed if you fail to use it properly, because I will not let that back into Strahd's hand without some assurances it'll be used in that way.
What kind of curse are we talking about here?
Well, only a person who's trying to betray the purpose would actually ask that question.
The better question would be how to use it properly.
That's also a good question.
Yes, only use it in hunting vampires.
I can do that.
Never use it on another, ever.
I can keep that promise.
I really hope you break
He
that.
reaches behind him.
What you got to lose?
Reaches behind him and grabs it. I'm gonna have to pull this up real quick. Give me a moment. There we go. Come on. Open. Okay. Yeah. I'll import it. Okay. He takes it and you see him speak some words over it. You hear him muttering ever so slightly and quietly, and then there's a surge of power. It feels a little bit like cool water flowing over your arms and your face and your ears, and then there's just this slight acrid scent afterwards, like the water had been poisoned. And he hands it to you. So let me go and give this to your character. Where is the damage marker on this? I'm trying to make sure it's going to actually work for you, because if it doesn't work for you, I'll be unhappy. We got to make sure you have the ability to use it without whatever that word is, penalty.
Nothing like taking disadvantage attacks every single time.
Right, exactly. Which is what I'm trying to avoid having you deal with. And then we will properly name it. Give me a second here, boys. Okay, that should work. And now your character, Tom. It's going to go into your inventory, hands it over to you with a hesitation that he doesn't just quite get past. Like, he really is loath to get rid of it. But he does so. Is now in your inventory.
Yeah, I see it.
Can you link that just for funsies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
Work when I do this. We'll find out real quick. Boop. Nope, that didn't work. How about this one? Okay, that didn't work either. Now if I open it and then share it. Oh, does that let you read it? No, it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It says Bellevue's Whip.
Yeah, it shows Bellevue's Whip. It doesn't show you the link. I'll do it this way so you get the stats. I know I for sure can show you this way. I've just been trying to give you the modified version so you can actually look at that, but whatever. Send reference to chat.
Whip +3.
Find it very satisfying. This game actually had a literal chain whip ready.
10 meters.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. If there's any weird disadvantage thing, I'll fix that later, but we'll take the higher if that's the case. I don't think it will, though. So he gives it to you, and you've made a bit of a deal with him. You don't know what the curse is if you were to break that, but you're pretty aware. Make sure you only ever use it against a vampire.
I could promise that. It's not a very hard promise to keep.
You say that, but then you forget.
Hey, you're not entirely wrong. But I won't.
That's great. right. So what you guys gonna do?
I've got no further business here. Just
I've got
leave
none
with
that I know of.
leave with one last warning that Irene is not to be touched.
He rolls his eyes at you. Just chuckles.
So is he planning to
Robot
kill
boy.
Irina to put her soul into the body?
Yep.
Okay. Robot boy, got it. What's up?
So yeah, he says the rest of you go ahead and go, and he calls to you to come over to him to
Sweet.
have a private conversation. And are you guys leaving, or I need to know whether you leave or not.
Shoo them out. My dummy shoos them out. He floats after them and smacking them with his umbrella to chase them out of the room.
Sure, why not? I'll go.
Then drifts casually back into the room.
Okay.
Can I sit in a stairwell? Will I be able to hear anything? I really don't trust this guy.
You don't trust me? Maybe I'll tell you.
Not you. It's not
I know,
you I
but-
don't trust.
Oh.
It's
Let me try this. Testing. Make sure this works. Yeah, that's working. You see that, right, Scott? Can you see that?
If you're talking to me, no.
No, he's talking to other Scott.
Can you hear me, Corey? Because I can see it. Oh.
No, I couldn't.
I'm going to whisper to him.
You type /W space, and then you can see GM as an option. It's on the autofill, which by the way is a mod in case you need to tell him, Armandus. That's one of my favorite ones, the /whisper autofill.
Yes, put that /whisper autofill exactly. Is anyone still talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Priestly conversations. Or holy priestmen.
I'm gonna let you roll on your observation in just a minute, but it's tough for me to both ask you to do those things while typing, so just give me a moment, and I will then relay what I think your roll would have allowed for. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and do a roll for, I don't know, insight, not insight. Whatever you're observing, you're trying to listen in. So do a stealth check actually, and then do a, I guess investigation makes sense. Wow, it was a bad stealth roll.
That's even worse.
Wow. You
Alright,
hear?
I didn't hear anything.
The dummy sees him and starts beating him with the umbrella. That's why I got a 0 on his investigation. Or a 6 on his investigation. He was too busy dodging blows.
That's great. Anyway, he pushes you on and bids you farewell.
Okay.
So now you are able to begin a journey toward the city? I don't know where you're going. I'm just curious.
Would it make sense to go back to Vallaki to sell the ears and also restock any supplies we might have need of?
Oh,
and
that's
then
a good idea.
I'd probably want to go to. Well, I'm still tracking that other vampire too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I don't know I'm certainly not the only member, although for some reason I'm the most vocal.
Don't worry about it.
Well,
I'll join
I've
you,
been trying to
pal.
catch up to what happened last week, so I've been trying to listen a lot more because I didn't know what I missed. So I apologize for that.
No, you're good, dude.
I'll join you
guess
on that hunt.
You're
I got a
mostly
whip
caught
now.
up, honestly,
Yeah,
except
no,
for the
I
fact
feel
that
like
there
it
was a
now.
djinn caught in the well. There's a
And
wishing
there's
well.
some temple you guys were talking about that I don't remember anything about.
That's the Amber Temple. It's down southwest in the map, I believe. We actually have a quest to go there by an elf, I think. He's got a
Yep.
holy symbol of Ravenloft
Yep.
that he will give
Casimir.
us if we can like help find his sister or something. Although his sister's north, so I don't know how that works out.
How did you know she's north? Because you're right, but how did you find that part?
I don't remember. I've got it written down here somewhere, I'm sure.
Because that's actually an interesting dilemma that you have, isn't it? But you're right. I just didn't know you knew that.
Might have had to do something with. Her name's Stefania, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Or
it
no,
has.
no. Stefania's the daughter. Pet. I'll find it. So it's with a P. Her name's with a P. Stefania's the cute girl that likes you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right.
your girlfriend.
Dang it. Patrina.
Yes, thank you, Patrina.
She wants to be the bride of Strahd, or either is or wants to be. I don't think I've got written down how I know she's north, but I do. So we need to convince this elf guy who's got a name that I've got written down here somewhere, I'm sure.
Casimir.
That's it. That he needs to go north and not the Amber Temple, although taking him to the Amber Temple, if he has any abilities, would be good, depending on what abilities he says. Either way, we need to go to Vallaki
And he
first.
wants to go there because
Yep.
he keeps having dreams about the Amber Temple and his sister.
Yeah.
I'm cool about going to Blocky to restock.
Yeah. So that's
Right.
what we'll start with.
All right, so you have a solid day of travel to get back to Vallaki, but you're aware of the path by now. You've gone across it more than once, and so you begin your journey. We'll go ahead and do a dice roll to see how that goes. Scotch is typing. All right, that's your first one. No encounters.
Hooray.
No
Oh,
encounters
look at that.
again. Yep. All right, you make it back to Vallaki. It is late at night, however, by the time you actually get there. And though the city gates are open, you're able to slip through, and they close right after. In fact, the place where you normally stay is available to you. It's busy as usual. You notice as you're walking through town that there seems to be the preparations for yet another type of parade or something beginning. And all you can really tell is there's a bunch of little burning effigies of stick people on torches, and what that actually represents you don't know, but
Do they look
by
like
now
this?
you've gotten used to it.
Do
Pardon?
they look like the tree stick things from the winery by chance?
I guess you could probably think of them as that. They look a bit like it. Haven't seen the real one as opposed to people just bundling sticks together. It's not near as impressive. The more 60s of you might think of it like Burning Man or something. Burning Man effigies. Anyway, you get there and food's ready. Test. Yes, Scotch, that worked.
All right. Is my uncle there by chance?
Yes, he is.
Rictavio?
Yep.
I'll grab dinner and sit down with him, just try and recap everything that's gone, see if he has any news. And then especially ask him about Patrina, this other vampire, and his advice about the elf guy in the camp.
Yeah, so he, rather than me trying to do the voice, he's more than happy to talk to you. Of course, he whispers immediately, rather quietly, and he grips a pen a pendant on his chest to help ensure silence. And
Which I've got the same
secrets
thing.
don't get out. That's right. So he expects, of course, that type of communication. And when you relay where you've been, he comments that he was wondering if you had seen Esmeralda.
Is that his other hunter?
Yes.
No.
He said he had sent her that way, actually. But he hadn't heard back from her in several days.
I've not seen her since I shot her that first day that we got here.
He said he wondered about that because he'd actually told her to go to the abbot, that perhaps he could assist her with her issue, but he hadn't heard from her since then. He was a bit concerned. He said, but it's an issue for another day, and quickly moves on.
What do you know about the abbot himself? I do not trust him.
Yeah, he taps his finger on the table. He said, it's wise not to trust anyone in this town, really. He said, he knows more than he's ever been willing to tell people. He knows that. And he said, and he has looked as young as he has for the last 20 years, easily. The only thing that seems to change is the city becomes ever more and more mongrel. So any man who knows that much, he also doesn't tend to trust. But he has this feeling that he'd be a bit of a tough person to take on. He's not sure he could force him to do anything he didn't want to do, let alone talk.
Agreed. What about Patrina and Loud?
Yeah, he nods quietly. He said, yeah. Casimir, poor man. His sister, I am fair certain, has become a bride of Strahd. So what I don't understand is I listen to the different whispers around the corners and from the woods, from the various creatures and creature hunters. He said, what I don't understand is that she seems to simultaneously be his lover and, if I'm not mistaken, potentially one of his enemies. And he makes the sign of the cross. It's like she's hunting him, yet loves him. I don't understand. If here's a bit of life advice, he says, my dear nephew. He said, women's hearts are very confusing when they're human. When they're a vampire, everything confusing about a woman becomes 100-fold worse. He said they are creatures of passion and not romance, just passions, and they conflict with themselves, and it's confusing. That's why I gave up on women ages ago. He chuckles. I mean, occasionally, you have to have a woman, but it's a long-term relationship. It's just impossible.
So it seems.
Nah, that seems completely reasonable.
Shut up, you're not listening.
Actually, give me a charisma check, Tom. A roll.
Gosh. If he gets along with this guy, then I'm gonna.
No, he's at a bar. No, you already said that you're just setting aside with him. You always tend to do that, so I'm not gonna force him into there. But I do. They are at the. Oh yeah, you did great. So you're at the bar, and the Markov woman, I can't remember her name, Danica, I think, maybe, I don't know, whatever. You've been flirting with her, and it's clearly got her cheeks blushing, and she keeps saying, "Now stop it! I'm a married woman. Now stop it!" And she sort of gives little shivers as she can hardly withstand the assault of your charm.
Why you got your longsword out?
I was just messing with something. That's not part of the.
Oh no, that would be even better. I really wish you would.
Now it's a wiener measuring contest, I guess.
Did I hear wiener measuring contest?
He does have a really long whip
Yeah,
now,
but
so.
last I knew, he had an STD.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
you bring out your
Or two.
longsword like that, and he just unrolls his whip, and it goes 10 feet.
Oh, Scott, please mention to her that, or mention that he has an STD when he's like, yeah. That'd be
As
nice.
he's flirting, I just kind of casually say that he's still pretty contagious, so he might want to hold off on all the flirting.
She's your weapon looks hungry. Anyway, so yeah, he tells you that he believes Patrina is a bride of Strahd and somehow might also be an enemy of Strahd, but that does not make, when it comes to vampires, an enemy of the enemy is not necessarily your friend by any means. They always want to be
Agreed.
the top dog.
Should I take... Casimir has a desire to go to the Ember Temple. Should I take him there, or should I take him to Patrina? Any
Says,
thoughts there?
He pauses and says, I'm acquainted with grief, so I'm familiar with Casimir's obsession. Said, I don't necessarily, however, believe that means he can be trusted either when given opportunity to seek his vengeance. He may choose that at the cost of others. However, he does have something you need if you're going to truly stop Strahd. I trust that you've talked to him, by the way, regarding the prophecy spoken over you, the little reading card reading that she did. Can't remember her name. Lady with an E. Madam Ava, that's what it was. Madam Ava's reading to you, and what that means. You guys have already encountered several of the pieces you needed. You have the sword. You know that icon, that symbol he carries, is key.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're following her plan through, you're going to need that.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be aware of that and say that he would ally with Casimir, but be aware that man carries so many burdens. His haunted self and visage may end up damaging those he's with.
Interesting. There was one last thing. She spoke of a knowledge of the ancient from a castle, small castle on the mountains. Do you have any idea what castle that she might be speaking of?
I'm gonna have you roll for him. Actually, do a 1d20 plus 5, and then while you do that, I'm gonna check out my journal because I don't want to mess this up. Excuse me. Looks like I lost that personal notes thing. When you guys go to... Yeah, it looks like they're gone. Oh, that's... Journal entries. Do you have anything in there?
No, but I never did.
I still have mine.
You do? I
Yeah.
can't see it.
I do.
Which...
I do have mine.
Oh, here's the reset. I'm sorry. I can reset it. I'm gonna be okay. Never mind. Let me read it. All right. So your prophecy, according to what I have here, it says card 1 is knowledge of the ancients to help you better understand your enemy. It determines the location of something important. I don't want to tell it. Okay. Yeah. All right. I am right about where it is. Now let's check your dice roll. Let's see. Oh, you did very poorly there.
Yep.
It's good to see that Orin's journal works from another dimension.
Yeah, that's like
It's funny because he stole mine.
a dimension and a half away.
Still though, he smells like giant piss.
I love this.
Man, I wish I could have killed you.
He had plans in mind, man. He'd been working
I
on
had
it.
I had a full way to do that too. Dang it.
I'd even written your death description. I had it all prepared. But you switched realms, and so now it goes aside as nothing.
Yep.
So anyway, he's not sure what it means. but yeah, he doesn't know. I mean,
Okay.
you did, that roll was 4, so
Yeah.
I can't really give more.
Nope.
I will say, however, you got 3 out of the 4 things, though. You have, well, you know where the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind is. It requires you go to the Amber Temple as supporting Casimir.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Sun Sword, and you know who Strahd's enemy is, and that is Victavio, who's your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So you are nearly there. As soon as you get that last little piece, in theory, you are ready to take on Strahd. Not to mention, you've also been playing other pieces, setting them up. So anyway, it's late. You guys, do you have any more questions for your uncle, or any more
Nope.
plans to set place?
Nope.
Okay. Then you guys are going to go ahead and rest, I'm sure, so that you start your next day fresh. Those of you who haven't done so, feel free to go ahead and mark
I
yourself.
would like to wake up Diedrich in the middle of the night, ask
Oh,
him a
no.
question.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I forgot to ask about what the dude said to him. But that's probably somewhat where we're going, so go for it.
I'll just say that Medic was probably strangely quiet, contemplating something the whole time you were talking. He wakes you up, and he just asked you if... He basically explains that when he was given life, he was given a single command to do good. And what would denote doing good? Would the cost of a person's life to save many, many others be good?
Not necessarily, in my opinion.
Okay. He lets you go back to sleep.
So now you begin digesting internal novels on philosophy, and you have the tram problem running through your mind, the trolley problem, trying to figure out how to solve the trolley problem. You familiar with that scenario?
I love
Yes.
trolley.
Okay.
They pulled a lever to save 6 people at their cost of killing 1.
Yep.
Or kill 1. Or kill all 6 and save the 1.
Yep. So you begin going, you start calculating that, trying to determine which is the correct way. Except, what does it matter what the number is? Is it 1 versus 6 or 1 versus 6,000? Does that change the outcome? The back and forth.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, I don't know that you have your answer, but you can at least ask him that. He
He's
gave you a
thinking about
non-committed answer anyway.
Right.
I don't think so.
Something to think about.
But if it's 1 versus 6, what happens if the 6 are criminals?
Yep, there's that too.
That's my answer.
How did you know, though, I guess? Well, I mean, yeah. Oh. Well, yeah, they're not... many of them wouldn't be criminals, I guess, in this case. Most of them wouldn't be.
They're all certainly
Anyway.
trapped.
Yeah.
Get your long rest in.
Yeah.
Long rest.
You guys have completed your long rest, and you're prepared for the next, whatever you may face next. So where do you go from here? Where do you go from here?
Go and sell the werewolf ears.
I want you to put a question mark at the end of that auto thing. Daedric of Hell just poked himself with something sharp and is using his blood right.
And is using his blood right?
Exactly.
Oh man, that's funny. Do you know how to change yours and all that?
No.
Did you want to roll your dice again? I know you were on a really good one, but you technically are supposed to roll it again.
I am
right?
supposed to, yes.
Yep, go for it.
Still the 1d4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not 2. Why the heck did it do that? I think that's what it was before.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was before. Okay. There you go. So, you have a bunch of things available to you. There's the house where Vasily has been, you know where that's at. You have, of course, Casimir to seek out if you wanted to bring him with you on a journey to the Ember Temple.
To start with, I'd like to sell the wolf ears that we have.
Oh yeah, do you guys happen to remember how many you got? Because I do not.
I let me look at my notes. 427.
Ears?
Yeah.
No.
Well, thought I'd try.
I personally have 2. I don't know. I didn't write down how many anyone else had.
Might have to look it up later. Darn it. Okay.
I thought we were having one guy hold them all, so I don't have anything
Yeah, I don't
written
either.
down.
We probably did it by dice roll, and
Yes.
that's great,
Right.
except that I don't remember what the dice roll was. Darn it. Alright, well, we'll give you your money, and then I'll look up the rest later. It was 10 gold an ear, right?
I didn't write that down either.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure about that part. So go ahead and remove the ears and give yourself 20 gold. I'll look up that stuff later, and I'll adjust it on our game in between our sessions. Thankfully, you recorded them, so I won't have any trouble finding
I
them.
write it down in my inventory.
Yeah, I didn't put them in my inventory. I just wrote it down.
Alright, perfectly fine. I'll adjust the gold for the rest of you later.
Yeah, no worries.
And then what's next?
I would like to make a trip over to Vasily's.
Okay. Alright.
But whether or not these guys come with me is totally up to them.
Go with you.
Sure, why not?
And I want to try, when I get there, depending or not, if she's home, have a conversation with Irina.
Oh, you can't do that.
I think that's a dangerous walk, right?
A dangerous walk?
Shouldn't be.
Oh, on our way over there, get jumped.
I don't know, man. It's just in town. He does know where. You guys do know where this is at because they actually had food there, or theoretically were offered food.
Yep.
So, yeah, you begin your journey there with everyone else in tow. The day is as chipper as a gray, overcast morning ever is in Valaki. The burnt scraps of the effigies are now just sitting there as poor patrons of various establishments are forced to help join in on those festivities and are creating new ones to burn for the next evening. You're passing them by. You hear a patron yell out that they've got fresh pastries and they smell outstanding. And one of them is particularly pushy, saying, free samples, free samples. A little boy running by offering you pieces, and you have a chance to take some if you want. Does anyone take any samples?
I will
course I do.
chop off your hands if you take one.
All right,
Yeah.
never mind.
Connor puts it back down. Like, I mean, Tom does. Like, gee, okay, guess I don't want any. Thank you.
Have
Moose.
a good day, kid. Have a good day, child.
Oh man, that's too bad. Anyway, so you guys push on through and you approach this old, well-kept mansion. At least it's well-kept in that it looks expensive compared to a lot of the others. And you approach the door. The windows are all closed with cloth, of course, in front of it, so or behind it from your perspective, so you can't actually see in. But the house in its foreboding dimension stands there facing you, and the door, of course, is closed with a brass knocker waiting for you.
I'll knock on the door.
You knock on the door. It sounds hollow for a bit behind there before you eventually start to hear steps, and the door peeks open a little bit before Chain stops it. It says, "Hello, who's there?" And you look behind, and the timid eyes of Irina is there, and she's got clothes, her arm pushed up around, and her clothing is basically towels. She was apparently still getting ready when approached.
Noise.
She goes, Diedrich, is that you?
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not ready yet. I've been so tired. I just keep waking up exhausted.
Please.
It's like my sleep isn't doing anything for me.
I understand. Please get yourself ready, and I would like to have a conversation with you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. She's very confused and disoriented, and she unlocks the door and says to let yourself in, and she'll come back in a few minutes. So the door stands ajar as you hear her feet pitter patter off to change.
Okay, we'll go into the waiting room or living room or whatever.
You open the door with a creak, step through. Never before did it feel quite so foreboding as it does right now, having now known that he who owns it is the one you hunt. The furniture now, you recognize, doesn't look properly used. It explains why the table was so empty, why dust settled on places that normally would have been the hub of activities for normal food-eating humans. The glasses that you were offered were still actually even now just piled up in a corner, having not been drunk but just perhaps dumped out. The stains still on the glasses themselves. You sit down in the living room. Dust rises up from where your behinds plop down. Only a few small paths look dust-free, where clearly Irina, as a creature of habit, had been pacing. Some time passes. She comes back. She's dressed, but she still looks disheveled, as though she was not aware what she was doing necessarily the whole time. And she comes over and goes to give you a hug. Side hug a bit at first, and then she just sort of leans into it and says, "It's so nice to see you, Diedrich." And then she moves to the robot and says, "And you too," and pats you on the head ever so carefully. And then she sees Tom. Said, "Do I know you?" She's bodacious and boobied and very attractive.
You're about to.
Goodness sakes.
She seems a little bit distant. Doesn't seem to recognize you're flirting.
It's okay.
Oh.
She'll get used to it. They all do.
Oh, thank you.
So,
It's like,
Irene,
sit. Go ahead. Yeah.
Irina, is Vasily home?
Oh, Vasilia, that sweetheart, he's not home very often. I see him sometimes in the evenings, but I think he's on a work trip. He was looking for armor, he said. It was supposed to be his. He said he hired some incompetent twat to find it, and he said that walking dildo hadn't found it. I don't even know what that means. So I think he's busy.
Well, that is good. I'm not entirely sure how to tell you this. Do you have any idea, other than him by his known name, who he is?
Well, I mean, he's a really strong man. You know, the type of man that you always bet on because they always win. And he told me that he's got a family and that his dad was some type of royalty or something. And she starts to swoon a little bit. And she leans back in her chair. It's at this moment. Go ahead and I will give you a observation type check, an investigation, or an insight, either one. Medical check for Spanky, the robot.
Getting ready to ask. Ka-chow.
All right. Wow. Medic and Diedrich both recognize at the same time that there's small pink puckered marks on her neck. Several spots in them now. And the paleness in her flesh tells you that she's been getting munched on.
Yeah. Irina, have you seen your neck?
That's like saying, "Can you see the back of your eyes?" I
You
can't-
don't have
and
a
she
mirror
starts-
here?
She starts looking down. She goes, "No, I even said that to Vasily." I'm like, "I
Okay.
want a mirror," and it's like,
Okay.
there's no mirror.
I don't know how to say it except for I'm just going to say it, and you may not believe me or understand. However, we have recently found out that Vasily is no other than Strahd himself.
She furrows her brow. She laughs. She's like, "So dumb, dude."
Yeah, I expected as much.
He's old, man. I mean, he's strong. He's got money, but he doesn't even really touch me. Like, just looks at me. He's very respectful. And then he just comes in close, like he's gonna kiss me, and then he doesn't even kiss me. It's just, I don't know. It's so powerful. His stare.
Wish you would
Jeez.
listen to yourself. All right. Would you like to join us for a meal in the inn?
You know what? I'm actually really hungry. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. Yeah.
Great.
You realize she is so confused and tipsy from the blood loss or something
Yeah.
going on that.
Can I cast some type of heal on her that would help? Like, does a regular heal
Yeah.
help against vampire bites?
Well, I imagine it's like loss of blood combined with whatever effect a charm has. So I think you'd at least help with the loss of blood and restoring some of that magically, but I don't know that would affect the charm effect. I don't think it probably would.
I think I have a anti-curse spell.
Well, that
Oh,
would
wait.
probably help.
Is that like a restoration?
Really quick.
We can figure this out while we're walking back
Yeah.
to the inn.
Yeah. She leans over to to Magneto and it's like, "You have been so quiet. What is going on, Val?" She slaps him on the shoulder like a drunk college girl would. Like, you know what? You have such a deep soul. You know what I mean?
Totally.
If only you knew.
Totally.
She
Remove
leans
curse,
into you a bit.
but it's showing up as blank.
You should ask Diedrich about Stefania.
Gosh.
Stefania?
There we go. I got it.
Who's that? Do tell, Dietrich. Oh my god,
All right.
I want to know.
I'm gonna cast. While we're walking, I'm just gonna cast my good Cure Wounds, which is the touch one, and then I'm also going to cast Remove Curse, which is just a remove curse.
Right. Okay, so you go ahead and mark those things done. She
Done and
immediately
done.
has more strength filler, and you can tell she can walk straighter. Remove curse doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah, it's not a.
Yeah,
It's not a curse.
it would probably. It's not a curse technically.
Okay.
So that doesn't
I don't know
actually
if I have
do anything to her.
anything else that does that.
Stefania is a long story. I don't think we shall get into that right now.
He's
I would
engaged.
love to know. Engaged, she says.
No.
What? Did you just meet?
No, it was
How old-
proposed.
Is she a family that I know? Is she like how
I
old is
believe
she? What's
she's
she look
12.
like?
She's not 12.
12? Ugh.
She's not
What? 12.
She is
Diedrich.
like 16 or 17, I think, which is not that much better, I realize.
She slaps her shoulders like, "You cad!" Oh my god.
It is proposed, and I am not engaged. I did not accept.
Well, isn't he like a robot? So he would know, like, facts.
I have
These are like
perfect memory.
facts. So is he?
He
like
is
oh my
a
God.
robot. However, he is. I would not exactly trust his inner workings to be.
Well, whatever. What
He
happens
did
in
say
Barovia? What happens in Barovia stays in Barovia. I hear. So whatever. I mean, we've all made mistakes. That's a really weird one. I want you to know, and I'm bothered by it. Val,
Yes,
you
I
didn't stop him.
understand.
Good Lord, Val! I trusted you to have a little wisdom in keeping his, dagger in the sheath.
Unfortunately, well, for one, my dagger has stayed in the sheath. And second, Val hasn't been here very much as of late, so we really can't trust what he has to say either.
Cleaning up all the evidence right now. I see. Okay. You guys carry your conversation forward until you're at the inn, and breakfast is ordered for you guys, nice and steaming hot. She seems to eat with gusto, and you can see she's becoming more flush and more with it with every passing minute.
Is Rictavio here by chance?
Well, we're gonna let a coin flip determine that. Is it this one, DC? No, darn. Yes, that did it. Yes, he is, apparently.
Awesome.
That's the heads.
I'm going to call him over, as well as the bar owner, who's the uncle of Stefania, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
I'm going to call both of them over to me, and this girl is of extreme importance to not only Strahd, but also the abbot of St. Markovia. One wants her dead, the other wants her as his bride. Is there any way that we can hide her, or anything?
He said, Octavio says, I could take her to the tower. And the uncle says, yes, I haven't been there in years. Are the defenses still up? And Octavio says, yes, I believe so. Unless Esmeralda left them down, they should be good. Yes, we could take her to the tower. You could. Yeah, I think that it would be relatively safe. It's not perfect. It's not unassailable, but it has enough wards on it to keep prying eyes and scrying eyes, as it were, from finding.
Perfect. Can I trust you two to handle this?
Yeah, you have favor with both of them, so I would think that they would be able to work that out.
Awesome.
Rictavio is like tilting her head and putting his hand on her face, and she's like, stop it. And he's looking at her neck. He says, yes, much more of this, and she'd end up as a thrall. Yes, we need to get her somewhere. So he pulls out a piece of paper, and he starts scribbling a somewhat poorly, crudely drawn map, but you think you could follow it to find out where his tower is. And awesome. He says he's going to take her there. Should be there anytime.
I have a quick question. How long has she been away from him? And is this like a charm person spell? Because I'm just trying to figure out if this will eventually break through time, or is there some kind of roll I can I do like an insight or something to see if
I'll let you do a medical check, and Val can do a arcana check.
Oh, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, with your bonuses. With your bonuses, you recognize that she seems to be becoming more with it with every passing moment. But Val doesn't know any magic correlation to this and what vampires do. He's not even sure if it's the same thing.
Oh darn! The spell I need is 5th level, but I'm gonna keep an eye on her just to see if she gets better on her own as she's separated.
Okay. Yep. All right. So you guys have a plan in place, I suppose. There is. Let me actually do another coin flip to determine this. Okay. She does not notice. All right. That determines that.
What doesn't she notice? Or do we not know what she doesn't notice?
Okay. Just a second. One of you knows. Anyway, that's it.
Does one
By
of
the
us
way,
know
to do
that
that,
we know?
She doesn't know anything beyond that. By the way, in case you guys are curious to roll a coin toss, it's R space 1DC. So like 1D coin. And that gives you, or 2D coins if you want to do two, that type of thing.
I mean, Tom copped a few.
See, there's a whole bunch of coins. Just making it rain.
I think that. Okay, no, there's 2 people. I was like, did it just do it in spurts? Is it only allowed to do so many coins at once? Don't want it to overload.
Probably does have some limit, but yeah, you can't see the visual for that many. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So like, it does have a maximum. That's good.
I was gonna
Okay,
say, yeah, that definitely could have been a problem at some point.
So
Same
at this
with
point,
Sorry,
we
go ahead.
up to the camp and try and talk to Cassius.
Casimir.
That's it.
Yep.
So we stashed her someplace safe. Is that what the
Well, you've
deal
left her.
was?
Yeah, you've left her with Rictavio, who's going to take her to his tower. Then you received a map, a crude drawing that shows where his tower is, so that you guys could begin a journey
Okay.
there. It sounds like it also might be a good meeting point that from now on you could start referencing to people for the attended assault later on Strahd.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's even a map for that in this game somewhere for that. They actually built it. It's not very large, but it's a location you just hadn't uncovered yet.
But we have a map, so we have a general idea.
Yep, sure do.
Cool.
Yep, so now we have a few pieces in play. Obviously, you still know the location of a vampire hovel or lair or whatnot. You know of the Mad Mage, or at least rumors that a Mad Mage still existed in the north. You, of course, have the hags if you wanted to ever try to deal with them. You have the temple to go to if you so desire, and a number of other miscellaneous side quests along the way. And of course, you know where Strahd's actual house is itself. So you approach the village where you're able to leave a note for Casimir, who doesn't appear to be there at the time that you arrive. But you're able to give him instructions, leaving a note saying where you're going to be and where you want to meet him. So it is your choice what you want that note to say.
Shoot, I don't know where I want to go next because I was planning on talking to him and letting him make that determination where he wanted to go so he could give us the thing. Crap. Alright, where are we going, boys?
So wait, are we? I thought we were getting Casimir. We're not getting Casimir. We have.
He's
a note?
not here. We have to leave him
Okay.
a note saying where we're going to be and to meet
I
us
guess
at this place.
I would say meet him at the. Oh man, do we want to hit the tower first to make sure they get there all right, and then leave from there? And that could be since then Casimir's an ally and he'll know where the tower is.
We're
Or do
also.
we wanna go
I
to
was
the-
told not to trust him per se too, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know that I'd necessarily want to.
Then I think we should hit the Amber Temple. Just tell them we're on our way to the Amber Temple. I think that's where I would like to go next. I am concerned. I would like at some point to speak to what's her face when she's coherent. I believe she has good judgment.
Is the tower on the way to the Amber Temple?
I actually have to look that up. I'm not 100% sure.
Because if it is, then we might as well just
Tower.
accompany them to it.
And then we could leave a note to Casimir to say we're going to go there.
Van Richten's tower is... Sorry, take me a second. I found the map itself. Oh, great, I found the map, but not the thing that says where. So one more moment of search. There it is. It says Barovia, which is Chapter 11 of Dilapidated. Yeah. Okay, it's going to be to the east, and not directly on... No, it's not directly on the way. No. Because you're going to be going slightly west and north. It's closer to Strahd's domain, actually. It's not a bad launching point to get to Strahd's castle.
How close is it to the Hag's hovel?
Did we ever take care of them?
No.
I forget.
No, they're still there. It's to the east and north of it a bit. Probably
Maybe
about a
there?
half-day
Ish?
journey. Let me look at your screen. I'm on my own. Okay, ping it again, please. Yeah, it's actually shockingly close. The hags, however, were over
Yeah,
here.
they're down here.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I was estimating. Yeah, you see the tower.
Well, we could accompany them halfway, 3/4 of the way, and then go take care of the hags.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
That is a loose end I would like to wrap up.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, I apologize. There's no combat for those who enjoy combat, but we have to call it here because it is time for Spanky to get ready for work.
Alrighty.
We will resume in 2 weeks. Not much of a cliffhanger, but at least you know where you're headed.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Thanks for playing, guys. I'll see you
Thanks.
next time.
Later.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.